What is good, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far and some very important earnings, and also what's going on with the news affecting Tesla. Because we had some negative news today, which is causing Tesla to gap down. But so far, despite that happening, Tesla is attempting to make a little rebound. So I'm going to be talking about some important levels to be watching for, what's going on with the share price, and what I think is going to pan out for other tickers out there, such as Supermicro, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and many others. But before I break anything down, let me just say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, looking at Tesla, we're getting tighter and tighter in this wedge that has been developing. But the thing about it is the fact that Tesla started off with this little gap down. It does have potential to try to push right back up as the day goes on, as SPY is showing some life. But I just want to call out that it has to hold some critical support and try to hold this support throughout the day for this to last. I'm going to be watching to see which way this ends up breaking out from this pennant that's forming. So I'm going to talk more about this in just a couple of minutes. Let me just note that SPY is looking quite strong again. It's attempting to break its all-time high again. SPY is showing life, so is the QQQ and Nvda and Aapl. The market is still looking like it has more juice left. Now, Tesla is going to likely try to play a game of catch up, but we're starting off a little bit weaker because of all these negative headlines, which I'll show you guys in just a few minutes. Let's first go over a couple of things. I first want to mention that right now, we don't really have any major pieces of data coming out for Friday, February 23rd. We have no major headlines, no major pieces of news, no Fed speakers or anything like that. It's a relatively quiet day. Now, we had some earnings. We had Warner Bros. Discovery, which came out. They actually increased their overall cash flow, which is good, but their earnings were not the best. And that's because when you look at them, the loss per share was 16 cents versus 7 cents expected, and revenue was at 10.28 billion versus 10.35 billion expected. Not the best of news thus far for them. On top of this, here are a couple of things that we're seeing for the headlines. Nvidia is continuing to help the market push, which is a good piece of news for it. This is helping the S&P 500 and Nasdaq quite a bit. Also, the Dow. On top of this, we're seeing a new space race rolling as Intuitive Machines became the first company to land on the moon when its IM-1 mission touched down on the celestial body, which is good news for them. And this is actually the first US spacecraft to go on the lunar surface since 1972. That's good news for them, and that's actually a very, very big improvement. So we'll see more companies if they try to join in on the crowd. We also have Reddit's IPO coming out after a long process for them to uh, kind of just file their important registration documents and such with the SEC. And finally, it does take a while for companies to IPO, and this is coming out very soon, so good for Reddit. There's also some news coming out about a big outage for AT&T that happened, and they're still working on fixing this, but that's something worth noting. We saw a lot of disrupted calls from them in text and a lot of criticism they got. Hopefully they helped to fix the issue as soon as possible. And we also saw some big moves. Don't forget that Block ended up jumping 15% with strong revenue, and Carvana also surged 30% thanks to its first ever profit. I did talk about that yesterday, so you guys don't need more details about that. That's it for the main headlines for the markets. For SPY, please know that SPY has just under about 270, not 200, 370,000 calls expiring, a little bit under that. We have over 770,000 puts expiring with a 2.12 puts to call ratio. The majority positions are in puts for today. We might see the market makers play their games again. And on top of this, here are some headlines which involve Tesla. So the first thing that's not so good is that the competitor for Tesla is Rivian, and they're predicting zero growth this year, which was kind of negative for the EV sector. This is leading to a lot of fear about EV demand, a lot of slowdowns, and that was kind of negative, at least for the entire sector as a whole in Tesla. There's also news coming out that the IF metal is basically dissuading major companies from Tesla Sweden purchases, and this is very, very important because the strikes are continuing, and they're dissuading large Swedish companies from buying Tesla cars. A little bit negative news. I'm still seeing headlines about this as the protests are just continuing, and it's not the best of things to be coming out. Now, we also had some more headlines coming out. I'm not actually subscribed to Reuters, which is why you're seeing this right here. I don't really want to subscribe to them, but I just want to note that Tesla is going to fix software in 8,700 vehicles in China. They're calling it a product recall. So look at these words, guys. It's a recall for Tesla, quote unquote recall. And we're seeing this all over the headlines right now. Tesla recalls 8,700 cars in China. But you have to remember, guys, that this is just a software update that's going to fix it, because the reverse camera needs some improvements. It may fail during certain circumstances, so they're trying to send out the software issue to Tesla so far to help improve this. So this is just for 8,700 of their vehicles. It also includes 1,071 imported Model S and X's out there, and as well as another 7,600 Model 3s produced. And that's between September 12th, 2023 to January 12th, 2024, the cars that were produced during those times. And basically, they're doing this once again because of unstable cameras integrated that sometimes happen when you're reversing, and they're trying to fix that issue as fast as possible. So Tesla is going to give an over-the-air software update for free to fix this. So is this truly a recall? The answer is not necessarily. It's not your typical conventional recall, but the media loves to scream about that, and that's why Tesla ended up gapping down. So this is something that's very important, so make sure you're prepared for this. Now, don't turn into a mega bear because of this. Here's the reason why. I warned you guys about this. In my video from yesterday, I said Tesla might get a little pullback, might grab liquidity, drop a little bit, but then we'll see if the buyers could try to step back in. And right now we're respecting this wedge, so I think it might try to hold this, but we have to see it hold 195. We have to hold this. If we lose this, watch for a potential drop towards this low right here from the pre-market, 194.5 and 192.5. If we lose 195, we have to try to hold above it. And then we have this wedge to watch for. If we do end up breaking out of this, look for a push for 198 and eventually 200 as resistance. If we break 200, we're going to turn very bullish and start pushing for it towards 205 by next week. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 195. What do I think is going to happen? So far, we're holding up this trend line, and we did gap down thanks to the negative news, but I think that Tesla has this gap to fill. I think Tesla might shuffle a bit, be very slow, and then start slowly catching up with the market, and it's going to try to push up to fill that gap. We started weak because of bad news, and also because of the trend on Tesla where we kind of drop and bounce, drop and bounce, drop and bounce. It happened like 4 or 5 days in a row from when we opened. So we might see something similar. We're kind of dropping right now. We're starting to bounce again. So I think Tesla's going to try to rebound as the day goes on. And we might fill this gap and slowly push back up towards 198, if not 200 later on. So look for a little bounce on Tesla. How about for SPY? SPY is looking bullish to me. We're trying to break this high right here at 508.5. If we break this, we actually broke it already. We're approaching 510.5. If this breaks, watch 512.5. But 510 should be coming very, very soon. Watch for this to continue to break out. It's still very, very bullish. I think that there's no sign of it stopping just yet. It could break 510 plus very, very soon. Watch support at 508.5. If we lose that, watch 507 to 507.5 and 505.5. For resistance, I think 510 is coming. I think we're going to be pushing for 510 very soon. I think it's looking very, very bullish so far. And I don't think that there's a sign of SPY stopping as well. I think it's going to be pushing for 510 plus. I also want to add that with the bullish trend we're on, this could continue quite easily to even higher levels. So if it breaks 510, don't be surprised if we see 512.5, 513, and etc. For the QQQ, we look bullish. It's trying to break towards 440, breaking this all-time high. If that breaks, watch 441 and 442. Watch resistance from every dollar area. I would say to do that for now is we're at a new all-time high. If you reject off 440, watch 438 as critical support, 437.15, and then 436. Overall, it's looking bullish, and this is partly thanks to Nvda. Nvda is also pushing very, very nicely. Nvidia is trying to hold above 800. If we lose 800, watch 794, 790, and then 782 as supports. Watch resistance towards 807-ish around here. Then we have 812 and then 820 above that. Nvidia is on an uptrend. It's looking bullish overall, and we'll see if we could break 807. Overall, it's pushing very, very nicely, and we'll see if we could get that nice move. Nvidia is looking bullish. But wait and see if we could hold above 800. As long as we hold this, we're going to be fine. It looks like it could push more and help the QQQ. So the market is still looking bullish. For Aapl, it looks bullish as well. Apple's bullish because when you look at this nice accumulation, we're forming a very nice cup. If we could hold 184.25, I expect it to hit 185 to 185.5 today. If we lose 184.25, we could reverse, but overall the trend looks bullish. Very strong uptrend. It might come down a bit and start pushing for 185 plus. So overall, it's looking bullish to me. I think Apple's going to reach 185 and then 185.5 or higher. It still looks like it has more juice to go. A couple of shout outs I want to give also to the IWM Russell 2000. This thing is not extremely strong, but I think it's going to slowly try to uptrend towards 202 again to fill this gap at 201 and then reach 202.5 and 204. Look for a bounce on that. We also have super micro, which is trying to bounce a little bit. We have to see how well it could actually break 950 and if we could hold above 932.5 as support. If we do hold this and start pushing, watch for a retest of essentially 980, 1000, 1040, 1080, and then 1100 above that. Those are resistance levels. If it loses 932, watch 920. Then we have 900 below that. But my guts tells me it's going to try to curl and rebound. So look for a little push on super micro, by the way. That's it for this one, guys. I'm going to keep this nice and short. The market's about to open soon, so have a great day. Please take care. Tesla the market to the moon. We're still looking bullish. So do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.